waiting on the red dot now. All right, actually looks like it is recording. Cool. All right, so hey everybody, welcome to the SIG Docs weekly meeting. And if somebody doesn't mind, I guess I think I can do it here. Kicking out Firefly's note taker. Already done, perfect. Awesome, thanks everybody. I'm Jim Angel, a co-chair for SIG Docs. It is April 6th and it is 10:30 Pacific time. So before we get started, any new contributors joining us today that care to introduce themselves? All right, I see a lot of friendly and returning faces. So welcome back, everybody. Moving on to the updates and reminders. This week's PR Wrangler and next week's PR Wrangler is both named Zach, two different individuals. We have Zach Corlesson this week and we have Zach Arnold next week. I'll take an action item to follow up with Zach Arnold to make sure that there's still availability there. And as always, approvers, make sure you know your PR Wrangler shifts. There's a link in the agenda. And moving on to the release, 121, which was tentatively scheduled to come out this Thursday. Sounds like there's some changes there. I don't want to take any thunder away from Ray, so I'll kick it over to you to let us know where we're at.
All right. Well, it's not official yet, but the release might be delayed, and I will put a notice if it is official. I will know by the end of the day today. So the current status for docs, we're actually not too good. We're yellow-red. I would actually probably say red because the integration branch is not healthy and the branch sync has some build errors that we're tracking down. I did put the link to the Slack thread on the agenda. So we've talked about this, and Philippe and Victor, who's also Victor here is on the call. He's also the incoming 1.22 release docs lead. They've both been very helpful in finding the root cause of this, and we've found the issue. It was with two pull requests that I've listed. One pull request should be applied before the other, but also one pull request is applied to master, one is on dev 121. So when we merge master into dev 121, it applies them in the wrong order. So I do have a suggestion, or I did ask if we could revert one of the pull requests in dev 121, then merge master to dev 121, and then reapply the pull request to dev 121 after the merge is done. So Philippe has taken a look at that and also said that that sounds good as well. So that's something that I want to discuss. If that sounds good to folks here. I know there's not a lot of detail so far, but yeah. Do you want any questions so far? I know there's quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I guess I don't mind if you could explain to me like I'm five as far as the conflict that's going on. I kept up with it a little bit, but I got a little bit lost towards the end there. So a quick summary, I guess.
A few things is like, one is like, the first thing I saw was like a missing file, container.md. So that was in the build error in the sync. Also saw other build errors as well when I was doing the sync, was that there was a directory. It was workload resources, I believe. So there was a bit of renaming as well. So there was and under the, let me get the right path here. So under doc/reference/Kubernetes/API there's a directory called workload resources. Looked like one of the commits renamed it to workloads resources. Same with policy. Same with policy resources to policies resources. And in 120, but master has the singular version. So does the dev 121 branch. They both have the singular version, but it looks like there was a commit that renamed it to the plural version to workloads resources and policies resources. So that's, I also need to make sure that it does rename it back. It looks like it did rename it back, but I think it's in that same pull request. So there was one is that there is a missing file that the build fails onto container .md, which is under the one of those directories that was renamed workload resources to workloads resources. That's one issue. There was a pull request to use consistent pluralization. That's PR 26481. This one looked like that. That renamed it to the singular one. I have to make sure in this. And that was applied to the master branch. Then we have a pull request that it was applied to the dev 121 branch that did remove that container.md file, which the build error is filling on. I have to make sure that the directory names are correct in this. And then, so what the suggestion is that for the pull request, that is, let me make sure I'm saying the right one. The one that is in master 26481 that is a pull request for consistent pluralization is applied to the dev 121 branch before the pull request. Let me see here, I'm getting my numbers. 26413. That's already been applied to dev 121 branch. I feel like I just made it more confusing. Sorry. Anyway,
yeah, that helps me understand. At least there's like an order of operations almost issue. It sounds like changes happen on master different than on dev, and so the syncing process just kind of jumped the gun, or I guess not jumped the gun, depending on which angle you're looking at it. And Tim, I saw you had your hand up a little bit ago. Do you have a question?
I reckon I could have a go at fixing this. It sounds like someone who's comfortable with Git would be good at fixing this. I'm willing to have a go.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I should close my pull request for the sync, and I'll let you go at it.
Yep, action on me to do the make a sync PR. Okay. And I'll test it locally to make sure that all the merges you might want to do on that will merge.
Okay, sounds good. So put the thread, the link to the Slack channel thread in the agenda. I'll also put the notes as well. That's we've stated in the Slack thread on the agenda as well.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate all your work on this too. It's a little bit of a hairy one here last minute, so that's awesome. That sounds like there's a resolution there.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else like, on the release?
I'll do that in a few hours.
Okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim.
On the release, I did notify the localization teams last week about the timelines for this week, but I'm going to touch base again with them once we finalize what the schedule is going to be. If the release will be delayed. If it will be delayed, it will be delayed to Tuesday, because we do not like releases on Fridays or Mondays. So that is pretty much a rule, I guess. So it will be, if it will be delayed, it'll be on Tuesday. Like I said before, it'll be end of day. And on the notes here, it is on the agenda, and we do have the high level notes on what the process is for the release from the K website side. I like to update netlify, inform all the localization teams, and we're freezing the K website repo the day before the release. So either tomorrow or on Monday, then we'll merge the branch into dev 121 and cut a release 1.20 branch as well. So, all right, other notes are on the agenda, so feel free to ping me if you have any questions.
Awesome. And one thing I know that seems to come up every release, but it's been a while, and you probably have more context from the previous 119 release or 120 release. What we've done in the past for the freeze is open up an issue that eventually blocks tide. And then I believe the resolution is to manually merge some of the PRs around the release time. Has anything changed around there, or are we just moving forward with the manual merge process? Just curious.
I'll have to look into that. The rule book, what I saw was to go in with the manual merge process, but
Can I just clarify that when we say manual merge, we mean click a GitHub
Yes.
web UI button? Yeah,
Absolutely.
manually.
Yes. It's click ops at that point. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I look forward to that. And I think we'll be on standby, seeing what we hear in the day to day as far as the release getting moved, or we'll get prepared for Thursday. So that's awesome. Anything we can help you with, Ray, as far as getting things rolling? Sounds like Tim's taking a heavy burden on the main blocker here.
I'm sure I'm going to ping people. I'll ping the SIG Docs channel when needed as well. So
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ray, and also congratulations, Victor, again. I look forward to the 122 release, not to get ahead of ourselves here. All right, moving on to the blog. Tim, you want to fill us in?
Yeah, so this isn't really a blog team update per se. Tell you what, I'm actually gonna defer to Divya, who I see is on the call. Divya, I'd give you the floor.
Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while since I actually had the time to join the call. As far as the blog goes, from the release 1.21 perspective, we have like a cadence set, assuming that the release is going to go ahead on April 8th. And I've posted the cadence of publishing the blogs on the Slack thread. So we at the moment are looking to push the PSP deprecation blog that Tim has really helped us in reviewing and putting out. Hopefully, we are looking at publishing it by the end of today. We're currently awaiting an approval from the current PR wrangler, that's Zach, and we are also sort of awaiting communication from CNCF, because I'm not really sure if there are any policies around communicating the state of a release prior to the release actually being declared out in the public. So I've written to CNCF regarding that. Should hear back by end of day, I guess. So once we have that sort of once we have both of those in place, I shall I shall let folks know on the PR thread that we can go ahead with the merge. The rest of the stuff I think is there on the Slack thread, so I won't go too much into detail and bore you all. If there are any questions, of course, I'd be happy to answer.
So I will add a link to that Slack discussion that you mentioned, Divya. I'll put it in the chat. So anyone who's on the Kubernetes Slack is welcome to mosey on over and check out that particular discussion. Thank you for posting that. And I will add that I'm not really sure about the blog's review process. I've recently joined the blog's team as sort of an official reviewer, but for about 3 weeks or something, and I don't really know what the process is.
That was quite confusing actually to me as well. So I thought you were aware of the process, which is why I was like really confident about asking you to review stuff. So I think I'll touch base with Bob and other folks from the Docs blog team.
I think it's just me. However, my gut feel, and there's a few approvers on the call, is that we should get this post out. There's been a lot of people discussing it. I think there's been eyeballs on it. It feels better to get the post out today than it does to wait for thorough box ticking and clipboards approval.
And that's specifically the PSP deprecation blog post that we're referring to?
Yeah, so the PR for this is, let me put that in the chat, but yes, it's 27369 by Tabby Sable. Typing noises intensify.
Yeah, and it looks like it definitely has plenty of LGTMs, just needs the approval. One thing that'd be good, I know that I really lean on Taylor Dolzel as well as Caitlin Bernard from the blog side for the overall review process. It's possible the documentation already exists in the review process, but if not, it might be a good idea to get that documented somewhere, at least what that looks like. So folks like myself can go, oh, here's a link, let's follow this, step-by-step process. As far as getting that blog merged, I don't see any problem with it, but it would be worth getting at least the folks in the SIG blog or the blog subgroup channel awareness or heads up.
Yeah, so SIG Docs blog. Zach has said he will look in the morning. So I guess I'll leave that for Zach, who knows about these things, and I'll follow up with. It's already got loads of LGTMs. If for some reason Zach's not around.
Cool.
That's Zach Coolason, sorry.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else on the blogs that are going out? Sounds like we have a lot of things queued up. It seems like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like we're somewhat blocked on just the overall approval process, but not necessarily the content, getting these blogs out, the overall release. Everything seems green except for the approval process. Is that a fair statement?
I would say that,
Yeah,
I could.
that would be a fair one to say, because I'm a little confused, like Tim said, about the approval process for the blog bit. But otherwise, we've gotten in all the blogs according to the deadlines we set. That was last week. And we were able to get them well ahead in time. So I think apart from the approvals, we're pretty good.
Awesome. Cool. Sounds good. Anything else in the blog we want to talk about before moving on? All right. Well, thanks for bringing that up, Divya and Tim. Appreciate all your help. And I'll definitely be willing to help and unblock whatever I can do. But like I said, I want to make sure that the blog team is well aware too before we start rapid fire approvals. All right. Moving on to a localization topic. Brad, floor is yours.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and before I get into the one topic listed, a huge thanks to Tim Bannister. One of the most difficult issues we had with the localization teams were certain files they weren't able to own because of how things were structured. And Tim came up with a really innovative approach of using symbolic links and fixing it. And he submitted a PR, and it was just awesome. So Tim, thank you very much. Just, very proactive. It was really nice. And then the other quick issue that I have listed is just a request from the Korean localization team. They want to know if they could use the standard SIG Docs Zoom account for their meetings. Previously, Jim, you approved the Spanish localization team to be able to do this. And then I put the time in. I don't think there's a conflict with anything. But eventually we may need a better process if this starts to scale up and make sure things don't conflict. And, will we eventually need another Zoom account? I don't know. Is that CNCF gives us one of these things? Maybe, I'm not sure. Hopefully somebody's got deep pockets there, but just wanted to kind of bring that all up for your awareness and the request.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you bringing that up, and I think it's good also to get this discussion on record per se, if you will, so then other folks could reference it if needed. But ultimately, we do have I believe it's CNCF funded. I'm not sure who actually foots the bill to it, but it is a Kubernetes Google Group email address that has a login to a Zoom account, as a paid Zoom account, and ultimately all the sub projects that fall under SIG Docs could get a meeting created. I don't think it was necessarily as streamlined in the past. I don't think there was any real process or definition around it. So from an actual implementation standpoint, we might want to have a discussion around how we can automate this maybe a little bit more of a structured way. Because right now, the way the process is, I would have to log into, or I say I'd be any of the tech leads or co-chairs, log into the Zoom account using our Google account credentials, creating the meeting, and then sharing out the kind of like spits out, Zoom will spit out the like meeting notes. So right now it's a very manual process. Zero issues doing it for docs and for sub projects of docs. I know we've done it for security. We've done it for our weekly meeting. We've done it now for the Spanish subgroup. It would be no issue at all to do it for the Korean localization team as well. I wouldn't mind seeing more structure around the process though, just instead of, logging into Zoom and creating the account and copy and pasting it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if it's something we want to just get documented after we figure out the process, or yeah, I mean that was the thing. Do people make requests and it's first come first serve? Is it right? So just something to think about. I don't know if you want me to work on a proposal, or if you want to push me in a certain direction of what you'd like to see in the proposal. Let me know, and I can always come back with one. But just want to get your input first on what you think would be most streamlined for how to do it.
Yeah, so I really wish there was a way we could automate this, much like Test Infra does. If we could have some sort of YAML format to say, hey, spit me out a Zoom meeting, but I don't anticipate that being likely or being worth the technical debt associated with it. But yeah, we can work offline on that. But just to put it out there, we do have the account. Giving access to sub-project is not an issue. Right now, any of the co-chairs, tech leads could definitely take care of this task. And I think that the boundaries of it are obviously no conflicting meetings between the two, unique links and things like that, where I wish there was automation. There isn't, but that shouldn't stop us from creating that for the Korean localization team. So I don't know, Brad, if you want to DM me, or if I should work with some of the Korean localization team members, but happy to help out there.
Yeah, no, I can handle it, and I'll take that off their plate. I'll be happy. So I'll work with you on that. And we'll just put a little policy in place or whatever. Maybe we'll write it up and put it somewhere. With regards to the automation, I don't think these requests come that often that it's going to really, you're going to get the benefit out of the automation, is my guess. I mean, I think we get one every 6 months, and, so, but okay, so I'll work with you offline.
Awesome.
Sounds
good. All right, moving on. We don't have anything listed in the agenda for issues and PRs, but did want to bring up, does anybody have any issues or PRs that are currently open or that they're working on that they'd like to discuss?
Yeah, I do. It just PR 27248. It just needs put in the chats for Dev 121. It's like the first half of the reference generation. It hasn't improved. It just needs an LGTM. Actually, I wonder if Philippe should verify that this does not revert any changes he's done for the API for the reference docs as well. Yeah, so this hasn't improved. It just needs an LGTM, but let me chat with Philippe just to make sure that this is okay to go for 121, because I know some of the processes to generate the reference docs is going to change for 122, which I'm going to add to the role handbooks. But all right, let me take this back and get an okay from Philippe.
Cool.
I'm going to update the agenda. I think the number in the agenda is wrong. It's 27248.
That could have been me fat fingering it when you were talking, Ray.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So once you get that approval from Philippe, let me know if you still need any issues moving that forward. I definitely lean on some of the other folks for the ref gen. I know Karen's been very active there, Chiming, Tim, all active in that area. So I don't want to slap an LGTM just for the sake of slapping it on there. I'd like some folks with more context, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Cool.
I will talk to you, Ray, about that as well, because I might shortcut that for the work I'm doing later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Any other issues or PRs to bring up?
Hey, Jim. Yeah, you had pointed out, or at least one that would be useful for a beginner was the update the Mermaid package to fix that rendering of the ingress diagram. So that's, I think, 27129. I know Tim had made a comment about a SHA-1 checksum difference between what's out there on the repo and then what was actually in the PR. So I attempted to fix that. So wondering what might be the next step. How can I progress this forward?
Gotcha. So I don't have the context in the issue, and I don't want to spend other folks' time watching me trudge through a PR. Does anyone else have context, Tim? It sounds like you might have been active on that PR. And I do know the issue and at least know the overall solution there.
Yeah, well, it was what I remember is that there were two solutions. One is, we could convert the image into scalable vector graphics, and the other one was, a mermaid update. When I reviewed, I noticed that the file being committed didn't match the source in terms of an exact checksum match. And when you've got minified JavaScript and it doesn't match, that's not right. Like, I think we should be able to show that we have exactly the same document. So that was my concern.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Tim. And I attempted to take care of that. Originally, I'd sort of just done a quick hack of a cut and paste of the file contents, but understand what you were looking at. So I added a second commit to fix that, and I confirmed that the SHA-1 checksum match between what is in the PR and then what is in the Mermaid repo.
What it needs now is any org member, you have to be a member of the Kubernetes org to do it, to give that an LGTM and check it out based on what's happened so far. I've got stuff going on at the moment, so I'd like to step back from this one.
Tim, you got your plate full. I have no problem taking a look at that one and verifying it. Now that makes sense. And my apologies, Chris. I definitely made the recommendation to do the copy and paste. I'll call it the lazy way for me because it's a quick and easy way to get it done, but absolutely right from a security perspective. Let's make sure those files match.
Absolutely. And I learned something as well. So I'll make sure that happens in the future.
Cool. I will, let me update the agenda here with the actual PR itself. And then I'll take the AI to review. Awesome. Sounds good. Any other issues or PRs that folks would like to discuss? All right. Moving on to the discussion. So Abigail, I know that you've done a great job leading the Data Studio efforts there. I feel like I've somewhat been a blocker, at least not participating in that PR. But I didn't want to lose sight of this. There's really no action other than raising awareness, continuing to drive this forward. And I linked to the most recent comment as of 2 hours ago of kind of the next steps. I did want to share that much like the Zoom account uses a Google Groups email address, we do have an official email address that we could use for Data Studio. I'm not sure if a Google Studio account could be used for Data Studio or not, but that's kind of what I was thinking, is potentially using that official SIG leads channel, or at least integrating it some way there. So no action. Abigail, I'm not sure if you want to add anything else or anything we can help with, but I still wanted to raise visibility there.
Yeah, that sounds good. I don't, like I said, I just had some thoughts, so I added it on the comment there, like you, that you linked. But yeah, just trying to get the account. So that sounds like it will work for what we need. So maybe we can test it out at some point, and sort of move things forward.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a great solution that you've identified, and I'm looking forward to seeing that actually come to life. So I appreciate you continuing to drive that forward, and I think we're coming to a good conclusion here. All right, and moving on. Is it Layla?
Yes, Layla. Thank
awesome.
you.
And Layla, I'm not sure if we've met at least officially, but well, hey, I'm Jim Angel. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everyone. I joined the channel and then I recognized this is a meeting, so I came to the meeting. Sorry for being late, but trying to have more information on going forward. We have this server-side apply project that is going to GA. We missed the deadline for the previous release, but we have another deadline that is coming next week, and we are working on the documents. And people on the team are having like working on all those features, the bugs, and all those documents that are coming. And I'm trying to be helpful in terms of giving them trying to help with the documentation mostly. And my question is, would it be good to have the list of the PRs? I understand that you're going through all these issues and PRs by next week, Tuesday, so we can review them. Or another good thing would be, I really appreciate if we can have a smaller meeting with someone from SIG Docs, so I can get more information on what are the best practices, worst practices in terms of like getting the documents ready. And why we are asking this is because some of the features have like specific users, and for each kind of usage or scenario, we need to prepare like one document to explain it. And if we can have those questions and ask for more guidelines from someone, that would be very, very helpful to us to prepare those documents and then get the PRs ready for the review. The team also working on a blog, and I think they are capturing the changes in the blog as well. But any 30 minutes meeting with SIGDoc this week would really make my life easier, because I'm new to Google and also open source community for Kubernetes. So I might have some of the questions from the team, getting those questions, gathering those questions, and just ask it from someone.
Awesome, definitely, and more than happy to help. And one thing that I might suggest as well is more than happy to capture some, smaller working groups for sessions to talk about best practices. But in actuality, these SIGDoc weekly meetings would be a great spot to bring up some conflicts, best practices. I think that would be a very valuable discussion for even a wider group. I think your desire and goals to produce this documentation could impact more folks trying to do the same thing. Is this coming in 1.22? So this is really for the next release cycle?
It is for the next release cycle, but as part of because we already missed the previous release, we are going to get this done by the following weeks. So everything is ready, and we are going to have other post-GA tasks. So it is going to GA this next week. But we break the tasks to some milestones, and one of the milestones for that is end of next week, with getting whatever we have and try to make all the documents for what we have so far. So we don't want to practice this going all the way to the next release and not having the documentations for what we already have.
Awesome. I really appreciate you bringing this up early, especially getting a head start on some of the documentation. It sounds like Victor is going to be the release lead for 122. So most likely Victor will have some pretty important input there as far as the overall process. And with Ray leading the current release cycle as well, might have some valuable feedback for what that transition looks like. My recommendation would be bringing up some of these issues and discussion points in weekly meetings as part of an agenda item. And I think also, if you haven't already, joining the SIGDoc Slack channel, posting there for attention. And if for whatever reason you feel like it's not getting attention, ping anyone here on the meeting, and we can make sure that we get at least some visibility on it.
Great, thank you very much.
Cool, no problem, and welcome. Anything else folks would like to bring up for discussion? I did have one other comment, just wanted to bring up. Is there anyone else joining us that we missed early on for new contributors? Okay. Well, that's all I've got. Last call for any discussion topics. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all, and talk to you soon. Thank you.